President Biden is hitting back against Republican governors and lawmakers who are criticizing him over new COVID-19 vaccine mandates. During a visit to a middle school in the nation's capital on Friday, the president accused some GOP governors of being cavalier with the health of children and their communities. This comes as the Delta variant continues to fuel cases, hospitalizations, and deaths here in the United States. Part of the president's plan include vaccine requirements for federal employees and contractors. It also mandates large companies require vaccines for employees or weekly tests. CBS News senior White House correspondent Weijia Jiang has the latest.
Tonight, new CDC data reveals how deadly the Delta variant can be as cases soar across the country.
Those who were unvaccinated were about 4.5 times more likely to get COVID-19, over 10 times more likely to be hospitalized, and 11 times more likely to die from the disease.
At a middle school in Washington, D.C., President Biden urged young people to get their shots.
That's it. Simple, plain, straightforward. Get them vaccinated.
The push came just one day after the president rolled out the toughest federal vaccine mandates to date, including a new rule that employers with at least 100 employees must require workers to get their shots or get tested every week. Nearly 24 Republican governors have publicly opposed the plan.
Clearly, we have a president acting outside the bounds of the Constitution.
Some have even threatened to sue the administration. Mr. Biden's response, bring it on.
Have at it. I am so disappointed that particularly some of the Republican governors have been so cavalier with the health of these kids.
Many business owners are relieved to have political cover to issue a vaccine mandate. But Houston furniture store owner Sam Zavery worries some of his 300 workers will leave.
But I just can't force anybody, and I'm scared that if I do force some people, a lot of people will quit, and a lot of people will not want to work.
And Weijia joins me now with more from the White House. Weijia, the president was at a school Friday to make the case for his COVID plan. For a lot of us parents, that is at the very top of our minds. Can you break down the specifics that address safety in schools?
So there's only so much the federal government can do, right? Because it really is up to every school district and every school about how they want to implement their COVID-19 plans to make sure the classroom is safe. But the federal government has offered more resources to do that, especially when it comes to providing more supplies for testing, which is something that the president believes is at the heart of keeping kids safe, especially because so many, those under 12, cannot get vaccinated. So he is calling on all states and local jurisdictions to implement vaccine mandates when possible and to have testing regularly for students and staff so they can prevent outbreaks, because really, as we have seen, it just takes one case in order for that to spread. So they can provide more resources, which they have done, but they can't really require schools to do something.
Well, the White House really has changed its tone from merely encouraging people to get vaccinated to mandating vaccines for some groups. Why the shift?
Well, the White House says it's because of what we're seeing with the pandemic and how the Delta variant is raging, how transmissible it is, and how it continues to cause surge after surge, even though they have tried to flatten the curve and to get rid of the virus. They are clearly unable to do that. I mean, just a few months ago, the president was celebrating an independence from the virus, not knowing exactly how deadly the Delta variant would be. And that's why they say there has to be this shift, because they have to meet what's happening on the ground. And so it's unclear whether there will be even more to come, but certainly there's already a lot of backlash for the aggressive new actions the president announced yesterday.
Right. So far, 3 GOP governors and the chair of the Republican National Committee have threatened to take legal action over the mandates. Weijia, how concerned is the administration about lawsuits?
I have to say they're not really, at least publicly, and they explain exactly why. They are relying on an existing law that ensures employees the right to have a safe and healthy workspace. And we have talked to a couple legal experts today who believe the administration will win in court and that the legal argument will hold up, given how unsafe and unhealthy the virus has the potential to be. And so that's why we heard President Biden today saying, bring it on to these governors who are threatening lawsuits, because he is confident that he can win in court.
Well, given the legal challenges, even if they are confident that they'll win ultimately in court, there's still some questions about timelines. Yesterday you reported that there was really uncertainty about when the vaccine mandate would go into effect at companies employing 100 or more people. Any more guidance on that or the consequences for noncompliance?
So the only thing we know is that Jeff Zients, who is the coordinator of the COVID response team here at the White House, says they expect it will be done in a few weeks, but there's really no firm timeline about when OSHA, the Labor Department, will finish developing the rule and when it will be implemented after that. I also asked today during the White House press briefing, Jen Psaki, the press secretary, how long companies will have to comply once the rule is in effect, and she was not sure. And so as far as the enforceability, I asked about that as well. And, you know, she was very frank and said that these are all questions that they're trying to sort out right now because the rule is still being developed. But when you think about how many employers and companies are affected by this, it's hard to understand how the administration plans to enforce these actions and these mandates, especially because, you know, there has to be a body and bodies checking all of the businesses. And the only thing we know about the fines is that it's up to $13,600 per violation. But there's still we're still unsure what a violation means. Is that per every employee that doesn't comply? So, Lana, all that to say that a lot is still being sorted out, and that's why business owners are so concerned about what they're supposed to do moving forward.
But I love that you are asking the top people in the administration exactly those questions that are on all of our minds. Weijia, thanks.
Sure.